Okay, so our next speaker is Karthik. He teaches in sport and exercise science at the University of Kent, and his topic title is Digitalisation, Engagement and Personalisation in Sports Therapy and Rehabilitation in Online Teaching. So over to Karthik.
So let me share the screen. Are you able to?
Yeah, we can see that. Thank you, Karthik.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karthikeyan Muthumayandi. I'm here to talk about our experience with digitalization, engagement, and personalization with regards to the sports therapy and rehabilitation program. So we started blended learning approach in 2017. So we started recording the lectures as well as the practical seminar. We wanted our students to complete the learning task before they come to the seminar, and that's how we thought that the engagement in the seminar can be improved. So we started in 2017, and that's one of the reasons why we were well equipped to manage this particular situation of COVID. So our experience with YouTube, we created a YouTube channel. I can show you how the YouTube channel looks like. So this is the YouTube channel. For all the seminars we created, so even 3 years before, we created a small chunk of videos, which is less than 2 minutes of duration. So we created at least 60 videos in it. And the experience what we had was amazing. So for the data collected was amazing as well. So we had around, say, 2,000 hours of watch time, around, say, 120,000 views for there. And we had a subscription rate to around, say, 700 subscribers. So these are the interesting, you can see that the number of hours watched by time, you can see in the April 2017 and April 2018 and April 2019. These are the times where the student had the exams, and the behavior was just before the exam, the student had been watching this particular video. And this helped the student, it helps the student, but we wanted to make sure that the behavior is run throughout the whole of the year. So this was one information we received. The other one was the device type, which was really good. You can see here, we usually used to have a notion that the students will be before the computer to learn it, but what the data says is, after 2018 June, you can see the mobile phones, the usage of mobile phones for learning is more compared to that of computer. This change in behavior was there from 2018. And we can also see gaming console, TV, and tablets are also on the use. The other data which I thought that I will highlight is the operating system. This is one important thing which made us to make a decision where we are going to go in the future. So you can see the Fire TV OS or the Apple TV or smart television, Xbox, PlayStation. They have started using this particular operating system, and these systems are really good with the language processing agents or chatbots, and that's one of the reasons why we have created a chatbot. I will demonstrate how it is done in the lab. So a lot of operating system and operating software are also changing, and this is next 5 years it's going to change. That's what the prediction is. And so we did a gamified and gamified seminar and blended learning. We want our students to learn much more better before they come to the seminar. So in 2018, we used different learning technologies, whatever is available. For example, R programming, augmented reality, smart video, which is a touchcast, and we used Google products at the point of time, so that because it was very agile and we were able to use much more faster than the traditional Microsoft one. And University of Kent did not have the Microsoft 365 at the point of time. So we used this technology and we created a gamified seminar. You can see here the gamified seminar is there, where the student have to use the mobile, use augmented reality to find clues. The clues were hidden at different parts of the university. One in a cafe, another one is in a university student hub. The other one is in the library. The students have to find the clues, and then they will have to go and use the augmented reality to access the videos, and then the learning task takes place, and then they complete an online assessment. So they will have to go as fast as possible. That's number one. Number two, they will also have to be accurate in answering the questions as well. So the rewards were given based on how they have been scoring. And this was very interesting experience we had. And the results, when you look at the results, the students were much satisfied with the seminar, gamified seminar, compared to that of the traditional seminar. And they completed the seminar much faster. The learning was much faster in this particular case. And we also found the pre and post-exam score or the practical score were really in par with the traditional seminar. But in 2004, if I have to choose a gamified seminar over a traditional seminar, even I would not have been much more confident. But the COVID situation has turned the table around. So these are the experience we had. But the best part, what we have understood is, say, there are 48 known gaming mechanics, for example, leadership board or marks or badges or certificates. So there are 48 known gaming mechanics out there, and it's increasing day by day. And there is a gaming mechanics like reward, status. So we can put these into permutation and combination. The digital recording, the videos are going to be the same, but we can make a permutation and combination of these gaming mechanics to create a new and immense experience for the students. So that's what we have understood. So, for example, we try to put a gamified anatomy quiz. So the student have to complete the learning task in a week, and then after that they'll be completing an anatomy quiz. So we did not put any gamified element. The response rate to the anatomy quiz was less than 10 to 15% in the first 3 weeks. In the next 3 weeks, what happens is that we introduce a gamified element, which is a certification. So as soon as the student completes a certificate, which is a 80% of marks in the quiz, then he gets a bronze certificate. And if he gets a 4 bronze certificate, this leads to a silver certificate, and 2 silver certificate will lead to a gold certificate. The certificate here doesn't mean anything. These are done automatically. However, the students had a satisfaction and personal achievement, and this made them to go better. For example, you can see that week 4, 5, and 7, you can see the response rate have improved a lot, and the students were asking us when is the next quiz is going to be released in that particular week. So the engagement improves just by changing a small gamified element. Currently, we are using the Moodle lesson, which is one of the amazing resource activity which is present in Moodle. This helps us to branch it helps this lecturer to make different branches for the student based on the response what they give. For example, you can have 2 scenarios. So one is a simple flow where you provide a content, learning content in page 1, page 2, page 3, and after the student learn the paging, the content in the particular page, then he goes for an evaluation. If based on the answers what he give, he can end up the lesson, or he can go back, or we can direct them to go to a different page to learn again. So it is more of a flow chart, and you can make it a complex one, which is in this picture. So I can show you an example of how it looks like, is say in this particular way. Give me 1 second. So here is an example. The content of this is one example of the lesson which we have created. You have the completion task bar. You can go navigation bar is also there for the student, and you can also see the menu as well. So we can create multiple learning activity. For example, you can ask them to watch a video. This is one content. If the student prefer to do a reading, you can go for a reading task. You can see here, you can direct them to go for a reading task. So the content which you can provide in this particular page is you can provide a number of content. It could be a reading, it could be an activity, or it could be a test. So many things can be provided. And the assessment can also be a huge number of assessment can be there. For example, you can put a quiz which is simple as like this, or you can change to a different one where you arrange the word, and you can also check the answers, and you can show the correct. The feedback can also be given quickly on the same spot. So how did the student feel? So we did a quick survey. There was a 40% response rate for this survey, and 98% of the student, they found it really good, say more than 9 and 10, except for 1 or 2 who found that it is more of a lecture recording. So the best part is we could personalize this for each student based on what learning task they wanted. So it's amazing. And I should thank Dr. Phil Anthony, who introduced a lesson to us. And we also used H5P to provide different content as well. And this is an amazing experience. So these lessons can also be linked to the Moodle gradebook. You can see here throughout the whole year, we can automatically calculate the amount of scores for the quizzes and other activities. And this can also be linked to weighted summation, possibly in the future. And we'll be looking into more detail. We also know that whenever the activity are related to grading, then the activity completion rate is higher as well. So it's worth looking at in this aspect for the grade book. The other one, the lessons can also be linked to the badges. You can see here we created a few badges, and
upon 2 minutes, Karthik.
Upon completion of this activity, you can see that the student get a badge, and this helps them to go for a motivation as well. And again, this lesson can also be linked along with the MS Flow, and we can send a personalized email to nudge the student who really wanted a nudge. At the same time, we can also support the students we need to support. And these can be more personalized, and it can be done automatically as well, so without any workload for a staff. And the MS Flow or the Power Automate is one of the excellent app I would suggest you to go through. At the same time, you can also use a gamified element, which is a social proofing in this particular case. A leadership board can also be shown to the student. So only when we know what the other peers are doing, the student get motivated. So we need to be very careful with the social proofing. It can be more very positive, at the same time it can be negative as well. So you need to understand the dynamics of social proofing, and you need to provide the correct help. The last one is the chatbot, which we are introducing in this particular academic year. So we created two chatbots. One is a virtual assistant Kathy, and another one is virtual assistant Colin. These are named after my supervisors when I came to this country for the first time in 2004. And they are wonderful supervisors. So what does a virtual assistant Kathy do? You say it provides information and support on the module. So there are a lot of information on the module is available. However, it is very important that we need to provide the right information at the right time, what the student asks. That is very important as well, according to me. So virtual assistant Kathy can help with this, and whenever the student asks a query, the virtual assistant can provide answers to them. And the other one is a virtual assistant Colin. Colin is more of a we are using it for a learning technology. Say, for example, we teach students how to do an assessment. Say, for example, a patient comes to me with the elbow problem. We need to identify where the exact problem is. So we ask a series of questions, we do a series of assessment, and then we can come to a conclusion where the problem is, whether it's a bone or a muscle or a ligament. So it's like a decision making, and teaching this is very difficult, and we wanted to change the role play where the student becomes the patient, and the student have to answer the queries asked by virtual assistant Colin and direct the desired answer they wanted to have. So I'll show a demonstration of both of them. Give me 1 second. So this is the virtual assistant Kathy, which answers the questions on the module. You can see here. So it directly stays on the Moodle. It's just like whenever you open the Moodle page, it opens up and it asks how can I help you, and the student can ask questions about the particular module, and it answers. You can see what is the name of the module. It answers back within a few seconds. So you can see this is the module, and the student can ask any question on this particular module. The best part of this one is it gets more intelligent with time. So maybe the accuracy might be very low in the first year, but as the year progress, we can train with the data whatever is available, and it becomes more intelligent, and it also knows what context the person is asking. So this is an example of virtual assistant Kathy. The other one is Colin. So here the student
Karthik, sorry, I'm so sorry, Karthik. We're going to have to stop you there. We've run over by 4 minutes. Okay. I'm so sorry. I know it's a really interesting one, but we do have a number of speakers after you, so I'm afraid we have to be a bit brutal on this one. I think it's so interesting. I really do. I think you've packed in so much there, and thank you so much for taking the time to present. And yeah, having looked at the modules and seen just how good the chatbots and things like that you stuck on there, I know it's made a huge impact to your students. I think we do have time for one question. Dan, have you seen any questions in the chat which have been popping up, or would you like
I'm
to?
gonna feed this back, Phil, if that's okay.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna pick this one quickly. So someone asked, with the different operating systems and devices that students use to access, for example, like your videos, but I think this also extends to the gamification and the chatbots. How do you kind of make sure that these resources are made available across platform?
The chatbots which we created, both Colin and Kathy, they both can operate around, say, 30 platforms. So for example, you can go on Facebook Messenger, a chat, or a web page, or Chromecast, or Google Assistant, or Alexa. So anywhere it can go on and it can work. So that's the best part of this chatbot, and it is it can, if you integrate it perfectly, student can use in any operating system. So, for example, instead of looking at in the mobile phone, they can say that, can you play Karthik's video for today's lecture in TV? Then it plays on TV. So even the chatbot can be able to identify where the person is. If it needs to be a podcast, then can be, if he's going on driving the student, then it can be a podcast. So it changes automatically and it can be more intelligent.
Cool, that's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. There are a few questions in the chat. If you did have time to answer one or two of them, I know everyone would really appreciate that. So thank you so much for presenting today. Thank you.
Thank you.